guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm going to be doing a Halloween inspired makeup tutorial, and it's going to be a mermaid makeup look. I've never actually done a Halloween look on my channel before, so this is a first for me, so I'm really excited to show you what I did and how it turned out, and I'm actually really impressed with the results. It's a teal toned makeup look with the scales, and then you've also got quite a lot of highlighter and glitter, and then you've got purple tones on the eyes. This is also a special video because it's going to be a collab video. So I'm collabing with the beauty YouTuber called Atlantis Fae. Atlantis Fae is a really amazing, talented makeup YouTuber. She does so many really cool makeup looks. She's really into fairy and really ethereal inspired makeup looks like mermaids and things. So she's going to be doing a unicorn inspired makeup look on her channel, and I'm doing the mermaid look. We thought it would be quite fun because obviously mermaids and unicorns are the two biggest trends at the moment, so we thought it would be quite befitting. Do check out her channel because she does some really amazing videos. I love her work and I think she's super talented. So without further ado, let's see how I got all mermaid up. You see what I did there? Oh, shut up, Emily, get on with the tutorial. Boom. To start off with, I'm going to be using the Becca Aqua Luminous foundation, and I'm going to be applying that using a Real Techniques Miracle Complexion sponge, and I'm going to be dabbing that all over my face. I think this foundation is perfect for a mermaid look because it gives your skin a really dewy, fresh, healthy glow, and it almost looks as if you've emerged from the sea. Then on to concealer. I'm going to be using the Borjois Radiance Reveal Concealer, which I think is great for a mermaid look, again because it's very fresh and dewy looking on the skin. And I'm going to be applying this underneath my eyes in a triangular shape to really brighten up the under eye area. And then I'm also going to apply a little bit to the forehead and also to the chin. And then I'm just going to dab that all in using a dampened Real Techniques Miracle Complexion sponge, and it's one of the smaller ones that you can use for under the eyes. And personally, for this kind of look, I would recommend dampening your sponges because it really does give your skin an almost wet look. I mean, come on, you're a mermaid, you're supposed to live in the sea. I'm then going to be bronzing up my face using some of the Be Beautiful Cassie Lomas Whipped Bronzer. This bronzer is beautiful. It's a cream bronzer, so it's perfect for this look because it still keeps your skin looking very fresh and dewy. And I'm just going to be applying this using a buffing brush to the high points of my cheekbones and the temples and the forehead, and I'm just going to be buffing that in circular motions to blend that all in nicely. And because this is a cream bronzer, be sure that you blend it well. Then I'm going to be taking the Becca Liquid Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Moonstone, and I'm going to be applying that to the high points of my cheekbones as a highlighter, and then I'm just going to be dabbing that in using a Real Techniques Miracle Complexion sponge once again. As you probably can tell, one of the staple elements of this look for me is a dewy face, so I'm using a lot of liquid products to achieve that look. I'm going to be setting that in place using a very small amount of the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Dim Light, and I'm just going to be dusting that all over my face, but because this is a mermaid look, I still want it to be very dewy looking, so I am only going to be using a very small amount. Now onto the fun bit, which is creating the scales. Now to do this, I'm going to be taking some fishnet tights, and I'm just going to put them over my head. I know, I look really weird, but trust me on this, it works. Then I'm going to be taking the Kiko Cream Eyeshadow in the shade 15, which is a blue colour, and I'm also going to be using the Kiko Mixing Solution, and I'm just going to take some of that on a flat concealer brush, and I'm just going to be dabbing that onto the areas where I usually apply contour, but I'm going to be dabbing it through the fishnet tights. So what this will do is the fishnet tights will actually create a pattern that looks like scales, so it will give me a scaled effect, which is super cool. Of course, I'm a mermaid, so I'm gonna have me some scales, right? But you can do this in whatever colour you want. You can also use whatever eyeshadows you've got lying around. You don't have to use cream ones, you could use powder ones and then dampen the brush that you're going to be using, or you could use your finger. It's completely up to you. And I'm also going to be taking that on the temples and the forehead, and I'm also going to be putting a little bit of it on the outer corners of my eyes as well. I'm going to be taking a second cream eyeshadow from Kiko, and it's in a green colour, and I'm going to be dabbing that using the same brush, using the mixing solution again, and I'm just going to be putting it higher above where I put the first colour, so it's just going to create this really cool gradient effect of two different colour scales. And then I'm going to be using the Fee's Makeup Shop Rainbow Highlight highlighter, and I'm just going to be dabbing that using my finger onto the areas where I would have highlighter usually. So it's going to still create that effect of contour and highlighter, but it's going to be in a mermaid style. So I'm still going to be a contoured and highlighted mermaid, but I just love this highlighter for the really beautiful prismatic effect it gives to the skin, which is why I'm using it today. And then I'm just going to be dusting a little bit of that same highlighter to the high points of my face on the forehead, just for a little bit of extra glow. Then I'm going to be taking a little bit of face glue. This is the one from Primark, and I'm just going to be applying some of that to the high points of my cheekbones. And then once I've done that, I'm going to be taking the In Your Dreams Cosmetics Indescent Mermaid Face Glitter, and I'm going to be pressing that onto the areas where I've applied my face glue. And I just think for a Halloween mermaid look, this looks really, really cool, and the actual particles of glitter are very chunky and big, so it makes your skin look almost as if you've got pearls on your face, and it's very prismatic. Again, it just really works well with the highlighter. And then onto brows, I'm just going to be combing my brows through with a little bit of brow gel. This is the one by Pixie. You've seen me do this a million times, but after all, a mermaid's still got to have nice brows regardless. And whilst I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm just going to be applying some of the NYX Prismatic eyeshadow in the shade Mermaid, which is a really beautiful light green teal blue colour. And I'm going to be applying that to the inner corners of my eyes to create a little bit of highlight. And I'm also going to be taking that into the inner corners of my lids as well, just because it really brightens up that area and it adds a lovely pop of colour to that area as well. Back onto brows, I'm just going to be applying some of the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pomade in Taupe, and I'm just going to be taking that on a little angled brow brush. This is again a usual part of my makeup routine, so it's nothing special about this, but again, I'm a mermaid, I still want nice brows, and I just really like how quick and easy this is to use and how defined it makes my brows look. Then I'm going to be taking some of the Urban Decay Heavy Metal eyeliner in the shade Distortion, which is a glittery iridescent prismatic colour. And I'm just going to be applying that to my eyebrows. I usually wouldn't put glitter on my eyebrows unless it's a festival look, but because I'm a mermaid, I would like to think that I would have glittery eyebrows. And then I'm just going to be taking some of that Fee's Makeup Shop rainbow highlighter again, and I'm going to be applying that to my brow bone using a small tapered brush, just for a little bit of highlight on that area. Then moving on to eyeshadow, I'm going to be taking this NYX Vivid Brights palette, and I'm going to be using this teal blue shade from the palette, and I'm going to be applying that using a shader brush all over my eyelid, and I'm just going to be really packing that colour on just to get the intensity and the pigmentation of that colour. Then I'm just going to be blending that out using a fluffy brush, but you really want to pack that colour on to begin with, and you want to pack most of that colour on closer to the lash line and then bring it upwards, just because you really want to keep the vibrancy and the pigmentation of these eyeshadow colours, but be sure to blend them closer to the crease afterwards. I'm then going to be using some of the shadows from the Makeup Revolution Mermaids Forever palette, and I'm going to start off with this purpley shade, and I'm going to be blending that into the socket line in the inner part using a big fluffy blending brush. And I'm just going to be blending that upwards and outwards to create this soft focus effect and to really help those shadows bleed into each other and almost make it look water-like, so that there's no harsh lines left over in the eyeshadow area. And I'm just going to continue to blend that until all the colours are synergised and blended and fade into each other. I'm then going to be taking more of a mauvey purple toned eyeshadow, and I'm going to be applying that to the outer part of my socket line, and I'm just going to be blending that in using the same fluffy blending brush, and I'm really going to work those shadows into each other just to create this really soft effect and to really help the shadows merge in so they fade into one another, because I really, like I said, don't want any harsh lines. Then I'm going to be taking the NYX Roll On Shimmer eyeshadow in the shade Seafoam, and I'm going to be applying that with my finger to my lid just to add a little bit of shimmer to my lid and just to really add to that intensity of the teal blue eyeshadow. Then onto eyeliner. I'm first going to be taking this Berry M liquid eyeliner, and it's in a teal blue shade. I don't believe you can get this anymore, but I could be wrong, but you can find plenty of other eyeliners in a similar colour, and I'm just going to be applying that to my lash line. and I'm going to be creating a little bit of a flick using that eyeliner as well. And then I'm just going to be going over it using the same Urban Decay Heavy Metals eyeliner as before, just because I really love the effect it gives and I love the shimmer it adds to my eyeliner, and I think it makes it look really cool for this kind of mermaid look, along with the teal blue eyeliner that I've already used. And then I'm going to be taking the Clinqiue Chubby Lash Mascara in the teal blue shade, and I'm going to be applying this to my lashes. Again, I'm not 100% sure if you can still get this at the moment, but again, there are plenty of coloured mascaras out there on the market, so just go with whatever one you want. Or again, you could just use a black mascara for this, but because I'm creating quite a colourful mermaid makeup look, I wanted to use a coloured mascara, and I thought this teal blue one really complemented the colours that I already had on my eyes, and also it matches my scales, and I'm sure many mermaids would agree that you have to have a mascara that matches your scales. Then I'm going to be outlining my lips using the saturated colour multitasker pencil in the shade Shamrock, which is a teal blue colour, and I'm going to be outlining and filling in my lips. Then I'm going to be taking the Winky Lux lipstick in the shade Mermaid, and I'm going to be applying that to my lips. I think this colour goes really well with the pencil that I've just used, and adding a lip pencil underneath a lipstick will help to add to the intensity of a colour and ensure that it lasts for longer. And then I'm just going to blend that in using a lip brush. And then I'm going to be taking some of that NYX Mermaid eyeshadow again, and I'm just going to be adding that to my lips, and I'm going to be dabbing that on using my finger, and I'm going to start from the centre of my lips, and then I'm going to blend that out to the outer corners just to ombre it a little bit and just to give it this really cool glittery shimmery effect on the lips, and I just really think it added to the look. And then I'm finally going to be taking the NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray, and I'm going to be spritzing that on my face as if I wasn't dewy enough. And that's my mermaid look finished, scales and all. So there you have it. That is how I got my mermaid look. So that concludes my mermaid inspired makeup look for Halloween. I really hope you enjoyed it and you found it useful. Do let me know in the comments what you'll be going for Halloween as, or also let me know what your favourite looks are for Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!